The first thing I heard wasn't the words. It was the laughter, the clinking of glasses, the applause rolling across the room like a wave. Then I saw it, my mother holding a glossy folder under the chandelier light, her smile proud, radiant. "We're giving it to them," she announced, her voice steady, almost ceremonial. The room erupted. My brother's face lit up with disbelief. My father chuckled, and everyone turned to hug each other. Everyone except me. I sat frozen, fingers tight around my glass, feeling its weight like a tether. No one saw me. No one remembered the nights I had stayed awake balancing bills, the years I had quietly kept the lights on, the house alive. I told myself to breathe, to smile, to remain invisible, but inside, a storm was stirring, subtle yet insistent. Helping my parents had always been part of my rhythm, a quiet, uncelebrated duty. 5 years ago, when my father's hours were slashed and my mother's knees had stiffened so badly she struggled to drive, the mortgage became a mountain too heavy to carry. I didn't hesitate. I logged into my bank, set up automatic transfers, and in those first months, the payments felt like heavy stones in my chest. By month 6, they had become a pulse in the background, unnoticed yet essential. Every 30 days, my phone pinged with the same message: payment completed. No thanks, no acknowledgement, just another day. When I graduated college, my parents gave me a card with a modest check inside. "We're proud," my mother said softly. My father squeezed my shoulder. That was it. I had learned to expect little, to accept invisibility as normal. 2 years later, when my younger brother Cole graduated, my parents went all out. Rented a hall, strung fairy lights, hired a photographer. At the end, my father dangled the keys to a brand new car in front of him, sun glinting off the chrome. Everyone cheered. Cole cried. I clapped too, my hands mechanical, hiding the ache. I had been the steady one, the fixer, the one who baked the meals, drove them to appointments, juggled budgets, absorbed their mistakes. I was the background, the one praised only for needing nothing. Over time, the imbalance grew impossible to ignore. Cole drifted through jobs, hobbies, relationships, while I shouldered financial obligations in silence. When he forgot deadlines or overspent, my parents smoothed everything over, called him constantly, wired money. But when I adjusted my schedule, skipped vacations, or tightened my own budget, my sacrifices were invisible. No one noticed the silent labor sustaining the home. I became a ghost supporting a house that had never been mine. Moments like these often pass unnoticed, slipping quietly into memory, but some stand out. The day Cole lifted those car keys, cheering and crying, I felt a stone settle in my chest. Not anger yet, just clarity. I knew exactly where I stood in this family. 2 months after the house announcement, life returned to its usual rhythm, and I almost convinced myself it was just another wound to tuck away. Then came a text from Cole. Dinner. Just the 3 of us. Casual. My partner Liam and I drove to the house, now officially his. The porch light glowed warmly, the sky tinged with twilight. Through the window, I saw my mother arranging new curtains, replacing the ones she'd adored for decades. Cole's voice floated from the kitchen, effortless and triumphant as if he had always belonged here. The table was immaculate. Roast chicken, fresh bread, laughter. My father clapped Liam on the back cheerfully, then turned to me with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. I sat between them, the old pattern repeating, but the space felt different now. This wasn't my home. This wasn't mine anymore. This was their chosen family, their chosen heir. The evening passed in small talk, vacation plans, paint colors, backyard dreams. Cole spoke with boundless enthusiasm about installing a fire pit, gesturing widely, painting pictures in the air. My mother watched him as if watching the sun rise, her admiration unguarded. After the plates were cleared, she leaned slightly toward my father. "We need to talk to you," she said. Soft, practiced, a precursor to a verdict. "Since the house is theirs, we need somewhere to stay, somewhere peaceful. We've decided to move into your vacation home." The words hit me like a cold wave. Not a question, not a request, a decision. Silence stretched around the room. Cole's eyes stayed on his plate. Liam shifted slightly, waiting. I placed my fork down, aligning it with the plate's edge. Calm, steady, recognizing exactly what was happening. No, I said. One syllable, unflinching. My mother blinked, incredulous. What? You're not moving into my house? I stood, chair scraping lightly, leaving the warmth of their laughter behind. That chair, once a symbol of my presence, now felt meaningless. I walked away. Liam didn't follow. He never rushes. He trusts silence. I needed it more than comfort. At home, I hung my coat, stepped out of shoes, walked to the bathroom, and cupped cold water in my hands. My reflection stared back. Calm, almost unnervingly calm. No tears, no tremors, just clarity. I walked to my desk, opened my laptop, and began. First step, boundaries. Blocked numbers, updated passwords, heightened security, removed old access. Then the record. 5 years of mortgage payments, all logged. Not for revenge, but for truth, for my sanity. Liam leaned against the doorway. "Want to talk?" he asked. "Not yet," I said. I opened a spreadsheet. Not debts, not revenge, just inventory. Dates, amounts, my silent labor documented for clarity. Line by line, evidence of responsibility unseen. Closed it. No need to save. Just acknowledgement. Night fell. I gazed at the city lights, gold smeared across the horizon. Liam joined, warm tea in hand. Fingers brushed mine. "You okay?" "I think so." We stood silently, breathing together. The quiet wasn't emptiness, it was space. Space I had earned. Morning came with clarity. I dressed deliberately, held the key to the vacation home in my hand. Cold, simple steel, 5 years of invisible work imprinted in its weight. At work, the city's hum sharpened my senses. Emails, campaigns, meetings, all executed with a focus I hadn't known in months. Boundaries enforced clarity. Weeks passed. One Wednesday morning during a meeting, my phone vibrated. Unknown number, ignored. Second vibration, persistent. I excused myself, stepped into the hall. "Hello? Local police. We have a report of unauthorized access at your property." My chest tightened. "Go on." "They used a key to enter. System flagged it. We need your confirmation." I breathed, calm, collected. "They do not have permission to be there." Minutes later, Liam and I drove out. Gravel crunched beneath tires. The police cruiser waited, lights off. My parents huddled on the porch beside suitcases, hope painted across their faces. Relief that I held power over consequences.
"Ma'am, these are your parents?" the officer asked. "Yes, they do not have permission to stay here." My mother's face faltered. "Isabella, please." "You gave it away," I said quietly. The officer offered escort. Locks changed. New keys in my pocket. Metal solid. Clarity unshakable. The house behind me. Untouched. Quiet. Mine. Days later, the city felt weightless. Air flowed unimpeded. Liam and I shared simple routines. Coffee at sunrise. Soft touches. No words needed. Apologies arrived in voicemails. Cautious. Tentative. I didn't open them. Some conversations need space. Some forgiveness needs boundaries first. I listed the vacation house for rent. Not in anger, but in choice. Sunlit windows. Quiet rooms. Peace intact. Freedom isn't loud. It's claiming your own rhythm, your own space, your own life. Boundaries aren't punishments. They're declarations of self-respect. If you've ever carried the weight of others silently, remember this. Drawing your line doesn't make you cruel. It makes you human. And once you do, the silence that follows isn't emptiness. It's freedom. So if this story resonated, don't just scroll. Hit like, comment your thoughts, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Your boundaries matter, and your story deserves to be heard.